I'm Darlene Duncan, Vice President at KWN, and really glad to see everybody here today. And I get the pleasure of introducing our speaker for today. Please help me welcome Kathy Rudy-Herr, long-term board member and 70th president of the Kenosha Women's Club. 70th. Kathy worked as an early childhood educator, having retired after 30 years as a child development director with the military. She's here today to tell us about the historic building that is the Kenosha Women's Club, formerly the Hale Farr House in Kenosha, which the Women's Club acquired in 1923 and has owned and maintained for 100 years. Please help me welcome Kathy Rudy-Herr.
All right, I do have notes. Oh, do I have to? All right. See that pretty public attendance? Okay. So when I turned 60, my mother, who was a 50-year member of the Women's Club of Kenosha, gave me as a birthday present a membership in the Women's Club. I was already familiar with it. She was a past president. I knew a lot of her friends. I said, okay, Mom. Rolled my eyes. Well, 6 months later, I decided I would retire. And I've gotten to know the Women's Club a lot more. We have these history books that we have written, and it told a lot there. But the Women's Club of Kenosha was founded in 1891 during the Victorian age for intellectual and cultural development of women. So that's what it was founded. They were very important people in the community. Their husbands were very important. They bought teacups and teapots and linens and a china cabinet, and they met in the basements of churches, clubs, places for 35 years. And then in 1922, the house, which was owned by Horace Johnson at the time, was bought for $15,000 with the help of Gertrude Alfred. And if you don't know who Gertrude Alfred is, that'll be another session. She helped renovate it, and in February 9th, 1923, the Women's Club moved into that building, and we have been there ever since. It originally was purchased in 1848 by Samuel Hale. Samuel Hale was a merchant, and he was also an assemblyman. He was also a Democrat. And during the Civil War, he turned to Republican because he supported the anti-slavery movement. And Samuel Hale and Deming were two of the houses on the station for the Underground Railroad, so they kept the runaway slaves safe until they could get safe passage up to Canada. So, when you think of things like that and you walk through the home, you just get that feeling about it. After he left the house, it was bought by a William Farr, and William Farr was a doctor for the Northwestern Railroad. He also served as mayor for 3 times. I don't know if it's years, but terms, but he was also the mayor of Kenosha. And his wife decided to remodel it in, I think, 1890 I'm at now. And she added a ballroom at the top floor to be used for roller skating. They had 6 children. I don't know what happened to all of them, but they had 6 children, and then I don't know if they left or what happened with that family. The final person before we bought it happened to be Horace Johnson, and he lived there from 1916 to 1922, and he worked for Cooper's, and he came up with the Kenosha closed crotch underwear for men. KKK is what they advertised it as until they changed the name. But then his wife helped him make it. He came up with the idea, and he went on to work again for, what is now Jockey. So it's a big thing. I researched men's underwear. Believe it or not, there's a whole book on the history. Don't want to go there. But why it was so important and why it's still used today is very important. When the Women's Club opened, it was home to the Girl Scouts of Kenosha and about 20 other homes. And they housed a lot of them there. In fact, the first 22 commissioners of the Women's Club of the Girl Scouts were from the Women's Club of Kenosha. And then they decided that the community of Kenosha needed some sort of formal space to give presentations and concerts and things. So in 1947, they had a Buy the Brick program where they raised money to again, build on the addition, which is now to the back of the lot. And again, that opened up in May of 1952, 70 years ago, the year I was born. So, the 70s have all fallen in place for me. However, with that, they also had to assume a mortgage of $22,000. And so they had been paying that back little by holding basement sales, by holding teas, by renting out that facility to help pay off that mortgage. It's been a struggle, 100 years to own a home. You know what can go wrong in a home. We were blessed by being benefactors of Gertrude Alfred again. In 1974, her estate was settled and the Women's Club received $200,000. Well, that $200,000 has lasted a very long time, but we're down to the last bit. And we're going to keep the club going as long as we can. In order to do that, we do need to make sure that we can rent it out. We do need the support of Kenosha if they want to keep this historic home. We have been, when I say we, Deb is a past president, we've been saving costs as much as we can when there are events. We are there. We are there to set up. We are there to clean up. We are there to coordinate things. It's been a struggle in the past year, but it's also been a joy because when you go through the halls of that house, there are rumors that it was haunted. I have not seen any ghosts at all. But you just feel this spirit of all the women before us who came and what they fought for and what they sacrificed to keep this club and to keep it going. And that's the only spirit I've felt in the house. You feel it when you go upstairs, you feel it when you go down to the basement, and you can think and you feel, wow, there were people here who trying to save their lives by being sheltered. So I think that's some of the things. If you haven't been to the Women's Club, come by and join us. We've started a walking group. 9:30 we'll meet Wednesdays. We meet at the club and we walk around Library Park. We have a couple social events. We have an annual holiday tea. We have a craft fair in November. We are trying to do things to keep going in the community. We have a big celebration coming up where we invited an Elvis impersonator. Again, he's from the 50s. So, and we'd love to have you join us. We'd love to have you come and visit. I can talk so much more and on so much history and so much that club has done. In fact, we have probably about 15 Xerox boxes full of paperwork to be gone through on history. We did send a lot of things to the Historical Society already, and they have things, certificates, original certificates, because that's what the women bought shares in the house. So if there are any questions, or yes?
So I'm wondering about the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
How come you guys don't have a designation like the Deming House does? And do you know more about that?
Well, one of the main things, the Deming House has, the reason the Deming House has anything on it is because one of his daughters wrote about it in a diary. But you did not at the time want anybody to know that you were doing it, so it wasn't. But he was a part of the group that Deming was in, Samuel Hale. He strongly believed in the anti-slavery movement.
Thank you.
Anything else? Wow, okay. I mean, if you want more information, come by. I'll be walking 9:30 Wednesday mornings. And I brought some pamphlets on what the Women's Club actually is, what it does. Deb knows a lot more about what the General Federation of Women's Club has done in the years since they were founded too. But we've done a lot in the community over the years. The things that we do continue to do, we do a art competition for 7th and 8th graders. Then we bring it to the district, then we bring it to the state. And we do support different groups in the Kenosha area. So, yes.
Since I talked with the speaker
Yes.
last week, and one of the questions that I asked, and you might want to talk a little bit, what's the differences between KWN and your group? Because there was, when I talked to the women there was I felt there was a large enough difference that you might want to be a member of both.
Well, we are retired. Most of our people are retired. Some of us have other jobs on the side. But most of our women are retired and have the time to devote to volunteerism and doing things for volunteer. We no longer are in a position of we don't have businesses that we're networking with and things like that. But we do a lot of the very similar things. We believe in volunteerism. We believe in giving back to the community. And so I think that's the biggest similarity. And we have that big old house to take care of. So, we're having our next work day is going to be Saturday, April 22nd. We'll be there from 9 to, I said 12. We hope to do some of the landscaping in front, which has been there forever, I think, and is hiding a lot of the house. We still have cleaning up that we have to do. We have one member who's 81 now, right? Oh. Who comes religiously every time to wash windows. We just have a lot to do. We have a whole upstairs that has been neglected for probably over 10 years. We used to have caretakers in the house living upstairs in the quarters upstairs, but nothing has been done probably since the 70s. So if you want to see some 70s decor, it's up there. We also we have a group from Kenosha who does independent films, and he came to us wanting to do a scene for one of his films and used one of the rooms downstairs. Well, he's coming back the end of May, but he wants to use one of the rooms upstairs for one of his horror movies. And he doesn't want us to touch a thing. So, it's just a lot of cleaning and a lot of things that we have to do around the house and in the outside area. So if you know people who can help, we need carpenters, we need cement people, we need electricians.
September 23rd, we're having a big event. For the 23rd?
Oh, September 23rd, that's a long time off. We hope to have another celebration in September 23rd to end our year of 100 years of ownership of our home.
So what are the dues?
Our dues right now are $60, and we also provide scholarships to high school seniors. And it helps to support the building, then it also goes to the Wisconsin Federation.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.